The Jameela Adams Experience is the podcast for women over 40 who are ready to rediscover their strength and purpose. Hosted by Jameela Adams, entrepreneur and best-selling author, each episode offers inspiration, tools, and heartfelt conversations to empower and uplift.
Hey, welcome back to the Jameela Adams Experience, this podcast. We inspire, uplift, and keep it real, especially for women over 40. We are redefining our success on our own terms. So I'm your host, Jameela Adams, and today we're going to be talking about something that can transform the way you connect with your audience and your clients and whatnot, and it's building your brand and discovering yourself through your story. Yes, your journey is your power. Your experiences, your struggles, your triumphs, and just random stuff that happens to you, believe it or not, it creates deeper connections with others, and it's refining your voice as an entrepreneur. I know, because my story, it goes everywhere, but yes, that's who I am, and that's how I brand myself when speaking with others. I do talk about how I became an entrepreneur and the steps that led me up to that. So, with that being said, let's dive into the craft of narrating your story and how it can resonate and inspire others. Let's talk about why your story matters. Your story is your fingerprint, and it's completely and uniquely you. So, when everybody is standing there looking like everybody else, you want to stand out, especially being your authentic self is your superpower. And remember that being the real you stands heads and shoulders above being someone that's fake. Let's always remember that. The real you is better than anything other than. When you think of your favorite brands, your favorite influencers, or other entrepreneurs in your sphere and out of your sphere, you have to think, what is it that connects them to you? What is it that you are attracted to? And it could possibly be their story. It's something that resonates with you, that pushes you to not say be like them, like how they say be like Mike, but to see that you had struggles in certain places, and to see that the person that you admire had something similar happen to them. It can push you to be more success driven, and also to push your business a lot further. Next is sharing your story. Here are the steps, or I should say the results of sharing your story. It builds trust and credibility. When you talk about how you've overcame certain challenges that allowed you to become an entrepreneur, business owner, it helps others to relate to you. And when they see that you are relatable, they believe in you and they can trust you. The other thing is it clarifies your mission and your purpose. The more you build trust and credibility, the more people can relate to you. And when you're defining who you are, that's how people can relate to you. Let's be real here. People are kind of tired of seeing the overly crafted, overly done social media posts. We want to see the real person behind the mask, behind all the makeup, behind the fancy clothes, the house, whatever. People really crave realness because they want to see you as who you are. So remember that. Your story matters. Your authenticity matters. Being able to be your true self, you will build trust, credibility, and relatability to your audience. And when you clarify your mission and your purpose, you got it, 100%. So the next step in all this is how to craft your story. Storytelling matters. I remember I went to a networking event. The host was talking about how they became the creator of their platform. And they talked about how the ins and outs of how they became the person that they are. And they did it so well. They had a little humor. They had the stats to back it up. They had the receipts, as they say. Let's talk about how you can do that. What turning points shaped you to be the person you are today? Write it down. If you journal 3 points. who am I today? How did I get to this point to be the person I am today? What steps did I take? What challenges did I overcome? And that's how you can craft your narrative. That's the whole point. Crafting your narrative. Don't let anybody else tell your story. The other thing too is finding your core message. So we already identified the defining moments of who you are. You drafted it and you said, this is who I am. This is how I came to be. So now we're going to talk about finding your core message. What lessons or inspirations do you want to share? For me, it was overcoming the challenge of, of burnout. I was a stay-at-home mom after spending years in corporate, and I just decided, you know what, I need to do something for me. So I curated this idea that I have something other than just burnout. So I looked into ways to enhance the skills that I already have and build upon that. So that's how my story came about. I wanted to overcome the burnout, the rat race, whatever you want to call it, and do something for me. So with that being said, how does your story connect to your business or personal brand? For me, it's always been about serving others. After dealing with the headaches of dealing with burnout, I've always wanted to help others. That has always been my passion, is helping others. So that's how I related it to business. Finally, when you tell your story, share it with purpose. Put it on a blog, share it on your social media like LinkedIn or Instagram, even a podcast like this. You can do speaking engagements. If you are not afraid to stand up in front of people, do that. But tell your story because it has power, and share it with intention. There's no point of getting up there and just hemming and hawing. Be intentional with what you're saying, so that way people can, one, trust you, two, see you as credible and relatable, and you're authentic. Be your authentic self. So the other thing about all this, and this is the final tip on crafting your narrative, the power of your story, the payoff of owning your narrative. This is, like I said, the core being of everything. Don't let anybody else tell your story. You craft your story. So when you embrace it, you empower not only yourself, but you empower others. So creating opportunities to inspire, to teach, to build meaningful relationships is one of the best things you can do as an entrepreneur. Because people, like I said, it goes back to they trust you, they know that you're credible or believe that you're credible. And they will want to build relationships with you. So what is the next step? Obviously, start small. Write down your journey. Like I said, put it in a journal. And share your personal post on either LinkedIn or record a little clip. You can do that with Zoom and then post it that way. And then also just tell your story. The more confident you become, the more it grows. And you will become more confident. So thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Jameela Adams Experience. I hope that this episode resonated with you. Don't forget to share it, drop a comment on the socials. I really want to hear with you because I do want to build community. That's the whole point of this podcast, is to build community. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And that way you don't miss any episodes. So as we close up for this week, I want you to be inspired, be inspiring, be encouraged, be encouraging. But most of all, be you, and I'll check you out next week. Take care.